So we have the continuation of the diamond base here, and I just like filled in the walls and replaced all that wool with cyan concrete, and yeah, that's what I'm doing here. I wanted to think about the lore of this building, and I decided that this is like the 5th or 6th base that the diamond people have had. And so it looks all pristine, but it's also because it's pretty new, relatively speaking. The diamond people, they've been around for a long time, but they just got this new base recently, and I'm sure eventually they'll get into a war and it'll get torn down and they'll rebuild it again. For this, wait, oh, that's not yet. I couldn't really decide what I wanted to do for the windows on these square buildings. Eventually I settled on one tall horizontal windows. I think that looks really good and fits the style, and is a nice contrast with the vertical windows on the tower. And I'm doing a bit of terraforming here because I just figured I didn't think it looked very good. I'm not very good at terraforming, but I just place blocks around kinda until it sort of blends in. So I did a bit there, but there's a ravine on the other side of the building which I didn't consider. And here I'm flying around deciding where to put the door, but I come back to that later. I put windows in, and I decided to go all the way across because I think this sort of neo-modern look, which doesn't really make sense because neo is short for new, but means new, I suppose. I couldn't figure out what to do there. Because the tower, it would look weird. I ended up just flattening out that area and keeping the rest of the tower, the top half of the tower normal, but making the bottom half smooth with the wall. Initially, I just had 2 windows, one at the bottom and one at the top. As you can see, I'm building them here, like that. And that looks good, but I felt like I needed something more to it. And so, I do it here as well. But I'm eventually like, So I put those windows in, and then I'm like, what if I put another window in here? So I put another window in here, and of course the angle is bad. But yeah, so I put in, there's 3 windows now, and I think that looks pretty good. None of them are really to look out of, but they are, the light gets in, I suppose, so. Let me know what you think. I think it looks pretty good. I'm not sure about that window there, with the vertical one right next to the, maybe I need to, but, I mean, that would just be looking into wall anyway, so. I could probably figure something out. Maybe I'll put sea lanterns there. But for now, this is finished. And I decided that with the 2 dots didn't look very good, so I made it vertical. I was just kind of fiddling around, figuring out what looked good, and I settled on that. Now for this room, it was a bit different. I made the one lower, the top windows, so that it would stay consistent with my design philosophy of windows only touching white and not touching any cyan. And I still think it looks alright, and it adds a bit of variety. And then I'm doing the roof in there. I ended up putting the door there because I just thought I needed to put something there, and I went for the door. I didn't end up putting a window on that layer because otherwise it would have looked bad and it would have not worked well with the design philosophy. Oh, I've just realized a mistake I've made. I hope I get that in the video. I don't actually know if I do. I'll go back and fix that later. And I decided for an iron door, of course, again. And here I'm trying to get double doors to work, but it just didn't, like, they didn't go down the way I wanted them to, but eventually they did. And here I'm noticing that the cyan looks a bit weird, so I'm changing it. And then I decided to actually turn that into a path. And eventually I went back on that as well. I kept the path, but I didn't keep it like that. And here's me trying to fix my floor because I went too far. And I had these paths connect up the doors. And then I'm leaving this big open area that I can maybe put something in later. And it links up to that room, and it links up to the front door as well. I'm not sure if I prefer it linking up to the front door or not. I'm not sure. But yeah. I think... Yeah, I'm changing it to, look a bit different. So I'm having it go all the way around and link up, so it just goes around. But then I think it looks a bit weird on the wall there, so I might change that as well. And I'm changing the windows. And now I'm putting the roof in. Just slapping down a white concrete roof. Doesn't look super great, but I mean, you're not really supposed to look at it anyway. I haven't figured out what I want to do with the roof. Maybe I'll keep it like this, maybe I'll put something interesting there, but for now, it's a white slab. And then I went inside, and forgive how long it takes for the camera to go into the building, but you're not missing much, frankly. I decided to put sea lanterns in the floor for lighting, which you're about to see. There we go. And I did that the whole way. Every third block I'd put a sea lantern, and that didn't end up actually fitting because I didn't plan this through well enough, but I think the fact that it doesn't go past the path anyway looks fine. Like, I think it works, kinda. And then I figured I'd put, carpets over the sea lanterns, but I thought it didn't look good, so I undid that. And yeah. I went up in the tower, and I put some shulker boxes that have like arrows and bows in them, and the idea is that the archers can go up here and shoot people who are coming in who we don't know, or like unlabeled boats. They go up there and they grab a bow and arrows and they shoot it. They shoot at people, I suppose, if they're being raided. I'm imagining this is a world with a long history of war, and so people are just wary. And then out the front, I noticed the door was like right next to a little ravine that kind of split the island in two almost. And I figured I'd do something cute, and I have a little reason. I built a little bridge out of warped wood because I think, like, when the diamond people first got here, they sort of built this little thing as like a temporary thing, and then it just ended up permanent. And they all have elytra now anyway, so they just fly in and it doesn't matter. But yeah, this is the little bridge, and that's my thing. Subscribe.